Zebec is one of the hottest and best cryptos out there, in my personal opinion, which is why it's super, super exciting to be covering this crypto every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? You guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one, the only, you guessed it, Zebec network. Listen, right? Boom. We got a little bit of news, nothing too crazy, but practically there's going to be a conference coming out. They'll be announcing a new venture with this type of software, right? We can see, join us for a panel discussion on how we're bringing stablecoin payroll to the masses, powered by Zebec's infrastructure and Turnkey's wallet technology. All right, so we can see on the 16th, 10 a.m. Eastern, right, we're going to have this little conference. So be there or be square. Listen, coin confessions of the day, very quickly. If you don't like these, you can skip 30 seconds to 1 minute ahead. I turned 2,000 into 15,000 via Chainlink. Very nice. Turned that 15,000 into 1.6 million on Phantom. Lost 1.2 million on some protocol called whatever finance. Lost another 200K in collateralized long. Bought 41 Cupcat NFTs, did like a 5x, didn't sell, price dropped, and I sold all my Cupcat for, I don't know, some type of project. Bought 170K worth at $700, locked it for 4 years. It went to 2,000 per thing, and it's now $5. Ooh, that's why we don't lock, guys. Never lock your cryptos for that long. I'm not joking. I am not joking. I know people like to stake and they do all this type of stuff for these rewards, but some of these projects, these prices are never promised. And yeah, it went to $2,000 and now it's $5. I have $1,000 left and it is locked for another year because I extended my lock period. I have 4K on Solana meme coin that sits at 2.2 million market cap as of whatever, and it's my last trade. It's my last trade and my last hope. Now what? Put the fries in the bag, bro. All right. It is time to go to McDonald's. This money management, these decisions are absolutely terrible. You know, when you win this big, man, you really gotta like lock in. I understand some people, they go all in on certain projects, they swing and they miss, but man, this money management, not the greatest. Listen, Zebec, right? Rank 144 out of 9,496 active cryptos. We can see we're almost at 400 million market cap, 17.5 million volume. And we can see when we go to the holders, ladies and gentlemen, right? We actually had a little dip the other day, but we just bounced back instantly. I mean, that's just what Zebec does, right? That is just what Zebec does. Zebec has been continuously on the uprise for like the last few months, right? There's been times where in the small picture, the small frame, we go down a little bit, but generally we have been going up. Now, let's jump right into the technical analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding. And this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is Zebec's current price action. We were selling off heavy in the end of August, right? When we go back to the 4 hour time frame, right? We were doing very nice. We were creating consistent higher highs and higher lows. We broke structure, right? We broke structure on the 25th. And ever since then, we were selling off up until the first, right? The new month, the new monthly candle opens, boom, right? It sweeps out this August liquidity down here, right? Takes away this August liquidity. And then we start reversing instantly, right? We kind of create a double top over here, boom, right? Double top. But then when we went lower, right, we sold off a good amount. We did not create a double bottom or go lower. We created a higher low. Boom, very nice. And then what happened over the next day or two? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we created a higher high, right? We were selling off a little bit yesterday. We did say, it was a nice heavy sell off, but technically we were still, In terms of structure, we were still doing fine. And you can see we have created another higher low. However, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 12 hours, we have been rejecting pretty heavily, right? We see 3 4 hour candles over here rejecting pretty heavily. And now this is a big thing, right? This is a big thing. I personally think there's still going to be some type of manipulation happening because the Fed rate cuts are next week and they're going to happen, right? There's like a 90% chance for 25 points and there's like a 10% chance for 50 points. Okay. So, 0% chance that it stays the same. So, ladies and gentlemen, for me to expect some type of manipulation, isn't the craziest of crazy things. Okay. Now, I will be monitoring to see how we close on the 1 hour because as of right now, right, as of right now, we do have this high over here on the 1 hour, and we did create a lower high. So I really want to monitor this because if we do come back down lower, and let's just say we come up and we start failing again, right, and we create something like a lower high once again, then we will monitor to see if we do have some type of sweep of 0.0036 or 0.0035. Now, some people are saying, I saw in the comments, all the way down to these levels. I mean, that wouldn't really make sense in my opinion, to come back down to these levels, um, especially the 0.0023 or 24. That is just extremely, extremely low. You got to remember, in terms of market structure, it doesn't make sense either, right? It doesn't really make sense either. We would have to break structure because as of right now, right, we have these lows, higher lows, and we have higher lows. Now, you know, this price action isn't the most convincing, I understand. But look, ladies and gentlemen, right? Like I said, we are in the end of quarter 3. September is the last month for quarter 3. So we still might see iffy price action, right? Because you got to remember, we are at this 3 month candle. So we might see better price action towards the end of the month, the week after the Fed rate cuts happen. And October could really be that moment where things turn around. And I truly do believe that's going to be the case. Now, I don't really care about the timings too much. I care about more about the analysis, right? We will continue to obviously monitor things. We do see a lot of rejections as of right now. Once again, on the daily, we are looking good, right? We are consistently creating higher and higher lows, but we are struggling with our highs a little bit, right? We are seeing a good amount of rejection. So just be careful. Just be careful, ladies and gentlemen, for some type of potential pullback. Nothing too crazy, nothing's confirmed just yet, but we do have to be wary about it, right? We do have to be wary about it. We kind of see we are in this type of channel right now. So we are going to have to make a decision sooner than later to see where we're going to burst. Right. So that is ultimately it. We could see Bitcoin did come up and has broken structure to the upside. So very, very positive news, which probably means Bitcoin will continue to go to the upside, which obviously means something like Zebec should follow. But Zebec is a little bit on its own page sometimes. So we also do know that. That is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys so much. Make sure to join the private community. We are pack a punching everything. Love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.